The Chicago Tribune Tower, designed to be one of the most beautiful office spaces in the US, is now known as the Tribune Tower Residences. Its 34-floor office space was converted to 162 residential condominiums this year. Its neo-Gothic exterior and those tall, floor-to-ceiling French arched windows now play service not to the endless cackle of keyboards but to the crackle of warm fireplaces and cozy carpeted homes. The Tribune Tower was sold for $240 million and took another $150 million for the conversion. The tower isn't the only example. Architectural design educator and YouTuber Stuart Hicks points out that office spaces across the US and the Western world are sitting vacant due to the changing nature of work in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. Vacancy rates are as high as 20% in the US. Moreover, according to a recent study done by professors at Columbia and NYU, the US's commercial real estate industry is predicted to plunge 39% or $454 billion over the next 2 to 3 years. The vacancy of office buildings affects not just the individual building owners but the entire ecosystem in commercial districts or downtown areas. Empty offices mean fewer people in the streets, and this then hits the surrounding retail business, with long-time shop owners bringing down their shutters. But should India be worried about such a situation in its urban spaces?
Our Indian economy is quite resilient till now to the global challenges and the global recessions, mainly in US, European countries. So that's number one. So we have to keep that in mind. In India, if you see return to office is in the range of between 50 to 75%. So the return to office is not a challenge, unlike many of the European or US cities. Third, very important is our domestic demand for office space is also quite strong. Till March 2023, our leasing was quite robust. India as an outsourcing nation. So to that extent, I think in India, we have not seen this trend.
Indeed, the country's commercial real estate or CRE sector is expected to reach a market size of $90 billion by 2030, growing at a compounded annual growth rate of 8%. Favorable government policies such as Make in India, Smart Cities Mission, and Digital India, etc., and the rise of small and medium real estate land developers have contributed to achieving this growth. According to Colliers, total leasing in 2022 was noted at 50.3 million square feet, the highest in any year. In fact, far from lying empty, India's office spaces have rapidly embraced the trend of co-working.
Co-working is where people do not own the office space, or these are not managed by them. So what they do is organizations take fractional part of the whole office and operate and take seats what they need instead of taking up the entire office space. Ever since the pandemic has struck, right, co-working has again gained immense amount of momentum in India, and globally, I think 25% of the companies are working from home or have adopted to hybrid work model, but in Indian context, the number is way lesser.
Experts also believe that besides the lack of any such market necessity, the cost of converting an Indian workspace construction into a living space is prohibitive.
When it comes to converting a fully built office space to a co-living, it's very, very difficult because the initial thesis of building a structure was very different. The design elements did not take care of putting a kitchen in place or say putting toilet etc. in place. So and also it increases the cost of construction. So we have seen that people really don't intend to put that additional capex for a lesser return.
Basically, the approvals and the change in approvals, change in norms. For example, The office FAR is totally different from residential FAR, the density norms, so on and so forth. So I think those are more, troublesome and time consuming than CapEx.
Indian commercial real estate finds itself in a very different ballgame altogether. Even as recession fears grips the West, it is a more optimistic story in India. It has swiftly become a big base for big techs and has the third largest startup ecosystem in the world. So while Chicago may see iconic office buildings get repurposed as apartment buildings, it is a very different story in Gurgaon, Bengaluru, or Mumbai.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.